So bus lanes in London. Yeah, there are some bus lanes which motorbikes can ride in when they're operational, and there are other bus. Oh Jesus! Great. Fool. So where was I? Yeah, bus lanes. There are some bus lanes where motorcycles can ride in them in London, and there are others where they can't. And what this boils down to is confusion, but also there's no consistency because it depends on who has overall control of that particular road. So councils can decide if they want to allow motorcyclists to use the bus lanes or not. And so what we get here is we get some roads which are TfL, Transport for London controlled roads, which come under the remit of the Mayor of London. And the previous Mayor of London had a policy and brought in the fact that motorcycles were allowed to use bus lanes, which I think was a really smart move. You get some other progressive councils, London Boroughs, who also have decided to allow it. But you get this weird situation where you get some really sort of car hating, you know, oh, the only way you can possibly travel is by public transport type councils, where they won't and they refuse to. And the argument I've heard for it is it's a safety argument. That there'll be more accidents with motorcycles by using the bus lane because people aren't expecting motorcycles to be in there, you know, the bit when there's traffic, and you know, motorcycles are small and can't be seen where buses can be, and cars are turning in front of them. I mean, it's absolute hogwash, it really is. So we get this mad situation that depending on whether you're on a TfL road or a London Borough Council controlled road, depends on whether or not you can ride in a bus lane. Now that safety argument, you could use the same for cyclists, that actually you shouldn't allow cyclists to go in bus lanes because they so can't be seen and there'll be lots more accidents. But you do. Simply an excuse. Unless you know a road, you have to wait until one of the bus lane signs pops up. Let's have a look. Ah, here we go, yeah. TfL Road, obviously. Right in central London, London Road. Taxis, motorcycles, cyclists and coaches and buses can use the bus lane. So I'm good and safe to use the bus lane here. And it makes such a difference. But there's a good chance that if I was to turn off the Marylebone Road here, that I'd find a bus lane that I wasn't allowed to go into. Yeah, bus lanes originally were put in to cut congestion and get people onto a bus and not use their car. I don't understand why taxis are allowed to use the bus lanes, because actually taxis, especially the older ones, are really polluting, often only have one person in it. What's the difference between jumping in a cab and driving your own car, apart from the fact you don't have to park? And to illustrate what I mean, here's a bit of video from earlier in the ride when I was in Hammersmith and Fulham. Here we are in the London Borough of Hammersmith and Fulham, and here's a bus lane, buses, taxis, cyclists. No motorcyclists are allowed to use it. And now, bus lane where only buses and cyclists are allowed, not even taxis. It's no wonder a lot of people are confused. And whilst, you know, a good driver will be able to take the information in around him, pick up signs and stuff like that. Yeah, the odd sign here and there, but actually I'd much rather drivers and other road users were spending time concentrating on the road around them and the traffic around them. Car drivers were paying attention as to where I am and that I'm around them rather than fixated on road signs. So what's the solution? Well, I think there should be London-wide, because whereas in different areas, different cities, different council areas, it's kind of easy to know where one goes from another. In London, you just kind of go on. So I think what should happen here is that there should be a London-wide criteria for who can use bus lanes set by the Mayor of London. That doesn't mean you take control away from the London Boroughs about their roads. They'll still be responsible for it. They can still decide whether or not to put a bus lane in. But if they decide, anywhere it's decided, whoever is making that decision, the London Boroughs or the Mayor for London, then there should be a universal criteria of who is allowed to use the bus lane to cut down on confusion. Red light.